Right now, the House and Senate are working on my plan to generate a fair tax system and close loopholes that big corporations and super wealthy use to pay less. To give you one example, there's a group of experts, left, right, and center, who estimate that right now we lose more than $100 billion a year in tax revenue owed from the top 1% of taxpayers alone. Not because of low tax rates, but because the wealthy people aren't paying the taxes they owe. We're going to change that so that they pay taxes just like typical hardworking Americans do right now. We're going to use the money we collect from the tax cuts to give tax cuts to middle class families, to make it easier to raise kids, to take care of your aging parents, and so much more. What's going on in Congress? Not a single Republican supports this plan. They support the bipartisan plan, but not this plan. Not one. And some big corporations are spending millions of dollars legitimately, they're lobbying, to try to escape their obligation to pay the taxes they owe, leaving working families to pay a larger share of the burden. Somebody's got to pay. And when those who can afford to pay aren't paying anywhere near their fair share, it means you all pay more. You know, this has worked in the past with significant lobbying efforts, but I don't think it's going to work with me. For those big corporations that don't want things to change, my message is this: it's time for working families, the folks who built this country, to have their taxes cut. And those corporate interests doing everything they can to find allies in Congress to keep that from happening. Let me be, as the old expression goes, perfectly clear. I'm going to take them on. We're going to pass these measures. We're going to build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. And when corporations and the wealthy start to pay their fair share, it's going to put millions of people, according to all the estimates, millions of people to work in jobs that are going to help them punch their ticket to the middle class and stay in the middle class. And everyone will do better, including corporate America. Look, just think about it. Throughout our history, when the middle class has done well, when it prospers, has there ever been a time the wealthy and corporate America doesn't do well? I can't think of one. Our country needs these investments. I'm not asking anything other than some fairness being injected into the system. Like I said, if you hold here, the fact is that, the very wealthy, well, they're still going to have 3 homes or 4 homes if they want. It's not going to change what schools they can send their kids to. It's not going to change their standard of living. But just pay a fair share. Corporate America is going to continue to do very well. I've seen no evidence to suggest that it's going to cost jobs or cost, and now we need Congress to finish the job, to come through for the American people, ensure that the economy continues to gain strength and stability as we move forward. Now, finally, third thing we need to do, all of us, is to stick together. We have to put ourselves on track to accomplish extraordinary things. A strong, inclusive, historic economic growth, landmark investments to create even more good jobs and deliver breathing room for millions of families. A giant step forward in the fight against climate change, the crisis made more evident than ever by the death and destruction caused by extreme weather just these past few days. My agenda, I believe, is one that every American, if they understand it, can get behind. Because of the work we've all put in, not just here in Washington, but in communities across the country, every one of those goals is now within our reach. Coming together has always been part of the DNA of Americans. And if we can summon that instinct within us to unite as one people, one nation, there's nothing beyond our capacity. So let's keep going. Let's stick together. Let's remember who we are. You've heard me say it time and again, we're the United States of America. And the rest of the world is looking to us because we are the most prosperous nation in the world right now. We're growing. And there's a fairness to what we're doing, a fairness. We'll still have millionaires. We'll still have billionaires. We'll still have corporations that do incredibly well and CEOs that make a lot of money. But everybody has to start paying their fair share. Thank you very much.